Welcome back to the Mega Meeple, the show all about gamers and the games that bring them together. I'm your host, Tom, and I want to thank you for hitting that download button. Now, if you like what you hear, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And while you're there, leave us some kind words and put out some of that 5-star loving, okay? We'd really appreciate that. And I promise I'll call you in the morning. Now, if you have any ideas or suggestions of what you want to hear about, or maybe a topic, a discussion about the board games, now you can contact us through our website. It's www.themegameeple.com, and go to our social media page. All the links to our pages like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. You know all the ones. Okay, it can be found there at our social media page. And now you can also hear the podcast on our YouTube channel, as well as some unboxing videos, as boring as they are, but evidently unboxing videos is a thing, so I do them, oh well. And you can also see some reviews of games and gaming accessories, and the link to that is also on our social media page on the website. Yeah, I know this episode is late, but I got a real good reason. Notice I didn't say excuse. There's a difference between an excuse and a reason. Reasons are valid. Excuse is blowing off somebody. So anyway, yeah, this is episode 4 of the Mega Meeple, and well, I was racking my brain this week because just hitting a high on episode 3 last week, interviewing J.V. Stegmeyer of Stonemaier Games. And if you haven't heard that yet, you need to go back and listen to that. That is really good. It's the second half of the episode. So that was really neat to be able to interview someone of his street cred and caliber with just a third episode into this podcast is pretty cool. So that's what we try to strive for, is hitting it out of the park right away. So anyway, and also I'm spent the past week looking at some apartments. We're looking into moving soon here in the next 30 to 45 days or so, 60 days. So just going around to all the different apartments, and it's looking for an apartment is like looking for a car, shopping for a car. You never want to go with the first one. So you just want to shop around and try different ones. So we finally, I think, it's settled on one, and put the applications and crap in. And also just been playing quite a few games, because that's what we do here at the Mega Meeple. We play games, and I get to tell you about them. So what games have we been doing? Actually, there's not so much board game related, but RPGs. The Pathfinder group that I'm a part of, we've been going through the Iron Gods campaign for, my God, I'm thinking at least, I want to say 2 years now. Now, of course, we haven't been meeting every single week or every month. There's a few months or weeks there that we not available to get together. And, the usual thing, it's, people's schedules, work schedules, life, vacations. I know for 2 or 3 months there, we didn't get together because one of the guys in our Pathfinder group also works the Renaissance Festival when it comes through town here. So he was unavailable for that, so we took off for that, and holidays and stuff like that. But yeah, I think we have one more session left, possibly 2, but it looks like we're going to finish up here at our next gaming night. And yeah, it's I don't know how when you guys, those of you out there that do role playing games, D&D, Savage Worlds, Pathfinder, whatever, Numera, how do you feel when you have this campaign that you're doing for so long, and you invest so much time into it, and then it finally comes to an end and the story resolves? What do you do? Are you happy it's in? Are you happy it's over with? You looking forward to the next campaign or the next new character? Do you like this time around doing the Pathfinder Iron Gods, I'm playing an android that kills other machines. So I basically an android killer, if that makes sense. Anyway, it's pretty neat. But yeah, when you're done with the campaign, do you play a different character on your next one, or do you like to play just a fighter, or just a rogue, or just a paladin, or and that's the class or character that you go with every campaign, or do you like to mix it up each one that you do? I'll be a fighter this campaign, and next one I'll be a wizard, and next time I'll be a healer, or next time I'll be a rogue or something like that. So yeah, how do you guys approach it with when doing role playing games when you finish a campaign and getting ready to start another one? So, and I'm hoping to do maybe in between the Iron Gods and then whatever campaign we start next. I'm thinking of doing a one-off, just to dip my toe into the GM pool and see what it's like. And I think I'm going to pull from Fantasy Flight Games' End of the World books, and maybe do like one of the Cthulhu things from Wrath of the Gods book. And those are kind of interesting because in those you play yourself. You don't play some superhero with a lot of powers, or a wizard or something like that with spells. And now you just play your ordinary, usual doll self, and you're put into all these extraordinary situations. And I compare that to like going to the movies. I don't know if you do this, but when I see a movie, especially like an action movie or something like that, I put myself in the place of the main character, and I just wonder to myself, what would I do if I was in that situation? And usually the answer is I would poop my pants. So, and that it usually ends there, and it game over, Game over, man, game over. But these end of the world RPG comes at it, and it's a pretty simple fight, thing with the dice and everything, and that's what I wanted to do as my first outing as a GM, just getting something really, really simple, not a whole lot of math, and just roll the dice. Okay, these are your positive dice, these are your negative dice. Which ones do you roll the most or a higher number on? And that's what happens. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be a little experiment. And my friends in my Pathfinder group is going to be my guinea pigs. So we'll see how that if they survive the one-off. So what else are we doing? We got Clank off the shelf. Actually, more specifically, the Sunken Treasures expansion of Clank, and we got to play that a few times. And that when I first got the expansion, I thought it was sort of like just an add-on to the original Clank, maybe like a lower section of the cave or dungeon underneath that you would add to the book. No, it's a totally different board. It's a brand new board. It's also two-sided like the original. And they add a few cards and so forth. Like this one with the first Clank where you had the goblin out all the time. This time the Sunken Treasures adds a goldfish. And that thing is out all the time. But the thing is, you could only kill them when you're in a room that's submerged in water. And I like the Clank game because I love playing with people that are really competitive. Like they're really good. They are all into going really down deep into the dungeon and getting the most expensive things and try. And when that happens, when I play with those people, I just kind of hang out, like at the upper levels and stuff like that. And then when they're well on their way going down deep into the caverns, I grab the cheapest thing I can and I haul butt and get out of there. So there has been, that's the first game I played. I had the least amount of points, but I won because everybody else got ate by the monster or the dragon. So that's a sneaky way to win. But hey, it works. We also got Dresden out. You can forget the TV show. I think TV show sucks. So, but the books are better, and the board game's good. But we played that twice, and we lost both times. And you ever get to a point in a board game where it's obvious that you're going to lose, and you can't see any way whatsoever to be able to win the game, and you just get to the point where you just sit there and you stare at the board, or you just stare at the dice, thinking. And I don't know what we're doing when we do that. It's like we're thinking some kind of magical solution or some miracle is going to happen, and it's going to enable us to somehow warp the rules and bend the rules, or try to win this thing when it's very clear to everybody at the table. Yeah, the game is going to win this time. We're all going to lose, and there's nothing we could do about it. So, do we plug forward? Do we try to do it anyway to see what would happen? Let's see how close we could get to winning, even though we know we're not going to win. Or do we just, all right, the hell with it, pack the game up, it won, and let's not add, salt to the wound, insult to injury. So, but we go ahead and played it out eventually, and, we lost as bad as we thought we were going to lose, but it was still a good game. It was fun. I've also been playing quite a bit a game that was one of two games that designers have sent me. These are games that are coming out to Kickstarter in June. So I'm starting to play through those, and I'll be having I'll be talking about those probably most likely the first episode in June once the games hit Kickstarter, and also I'll be putting a preview video on our YouTube channel and just show you how the game works. And another game that I brought off the shelf and blowed the dust off of it, because I got it a while back but just haven't gotten around to play it, was Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. And that is pretty neat because it comes with 10 cases, and you basically go through. Now you could go through it. You could go through it solo, which is what I did, or you could play it as a group as well. And in those cases, you could play competitively, where each investigator is making their own notes, solving the cases on their own. And once they think they could solve the case, they drop out and answer. There's like 2 phases of questions at the end that you have to answer. So you could do it that way and see who, number one, solves the crime soonest with the least amount of leads, and also who gets the most points when you score up the answers to your questions. You could do it where everybody's helping each other out and you're all solving the mystery as a group, and you could do it that way. But I'm playing solo, and it's one of those games that you could. You're never gonna beat. Very rarely are you gonna beat Sherlock Holmes, because his score is always 100, because he's Sherlock Holmes. But you could either playing solo. You just play it again. Just like one thing you do is not bother scoring at all. Just play it for the fun of it. Or you could play it, score your answers, see if you got everything right, and see how close you got to 100. Or since you have like 10 cases in there, keep track of what score you got in each case, and just try to better yourself from your score from the previous one. But it's one of those things that even when you get to the end, when you think you know the answer, and you read the solution at the end, and you find out you're wrong, and then it's one of those V8 things or palm smashes where it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It didn't make sense to me before when I was trying to solve the mysteries. I go, what the heck am I doing here? But once you read the solution, it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, and then you got these aha moments like, well, why didn't I think of that? Well, because you're stupid. That's why you're not Sherlock Holmes. Otherwise, they'd be making a game about you. Then we had some people come over, and we played Mission 6 of the Mechs versus Minions game. And we try to get together maybe like every other week or so and just go through all 10 missions. And this past time we're at Mission 6. So we played that, and we just barely won. And even on easy mode. Because one mission we tried on hard mode and got our butts handed to us, and we had to redo the mission over again. It's like, yeah, okay, from now on, when it gives you the option of doing it easy mode, yeah, we're going to do it that way. And even on easy mode, mission 6, we just barely made it. One more turn, and the Tristy mech would have had 3 levels on one of his programs. So, and actually, we've been putting out finishing these missions in like 90 minutes average. This one, Mission 6, took us about 2.5 hours to finish. So, yeah, maybe we need to schedule our gaming nights a little bit earlier or something like that if these things are going to get even longer or more hard as time goes on, because we only have 4 more missions left. So, yeah, I think that'll be it for this episode. I'm not going to try to pull anything out of my butt and to try to do something, because I was listening to Libsyn podcast not too long ago, and Libsyn is the hosting service where they host my RSS feeds and podcasts. And they basically said they were talking about the ideal length of a podcast, and people seem to think that 30 to 20 minutes and less are better because you'll get more downloads. Well, the Secret Cabal podcast goes more than 3 hours, and they're pretty popular. So, but basically, what the people at Libsyn was talking about is like, basically, there is no ideal length of a podcast. There's no direct correlation between the length of the podcast and how many downloads it gets. And the one thing they said, well, if you have 3 hours worth of material, do a 3-hour podcast. If you have 10 minutes worth of material, do a 10-minute podcast. Do whatever you have available for that week. So rather than try to pull things out of my butt, I'm just going to end this podcast right now. So thank you so much for listening. I promise that as this podcast grows and matures and evolves, we're learning as we go. Well, we could only get better. And if you have any ideas about any topics that you want us to talk about or share, please get in contact with us. You can contact us through any of the social media links on our website, or you can contact me directly through the website at our Contact Us page. So until then, this is Tom saying thank you for listening, and we'll talk at you next week. Bye.